Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Coach JC. Everyone gather around should be a good one today. Today's topic is fall in love with a man who's willing to change and to evolve with you. Bottom line, when you're in a relationship, when you get into a marriage, you want that person, your spouse, to grow with you. Understanding that there's going to be hard times, going to be different times, going to be ups, downs, in between. There going to be times where change is going to be good, change is going to be bad, change is going to be indifferent, but it's all necessary for your relationship or your marriage to thrive. You know what I'm saying? Through the hard times, to the good times, that's when you kind of test to see if this person for me, if this person not for me. And the one thing I kind of piggyback on is just how I changed since my beginning of my marriage and up to now. We've been through the highs, the lows, been through multiple funerals. We had some good days as far as, our baby shower, welcoming our now 4-year-old daughter. I don't want to say 1-year-old, but 4-year-old daughter. She's, full of life, full of excitement, always bringing joy to everybody she meets. And that's what you want, you know what I'm saying? To watch her development each and every day. They're very, inspiring, they're very humbling. This is very exciting to see her, each and every day. And that's what life is all about. There's been days like that. The other days, there's been situations where we've had, funerals, we had the tough times, we've been through multiple funerals. It's been some on my side, and some on her side, and it's like, how do you mix the two? How do you combine the joy and also the sadness? And that's what's really going to test your marriage, going to test your relationship. It's easy when everything is going peaches and cream, y'all living it up, y'all on vacation, y'all going to the mall, y'all shopping, everything's good. But what's going to happen when you get tested, when you get that anchor drop? When you start losing people, when you start getting around people who, when you get in situations where it is tough, when the money's not coming in, when your job losses, when the uncertainty as far as the economy, how is y'all married, how is your relationship going to stand the test of time? We've been through a lot of that stuff. We've been situations where she's lost her job, situations where the money has been tight. I'm just a realist, I'm not going to sit up here and be like, oh, everything's perfect, relationship, marriage is perfect. Nah, there's been some struggle, there's been some time, there's been some dark days. But guess what? We continue to pray to God, we continue to believe in God, the understanding that, hey, everything we're going through, anything anybody goes through is what God has intended, through the good time, through the bad time. And you gotta be the type of person that's willing to grow and evolve with that person through any situation. You're with a man who only there just for the good time, the pleasurable time. Oh, we get to go out, we get to, eat food, we get to go travel, we get to, highs and high, just dealing with a man who's on the highs, not dealing with a man who's with the struggle, who's willing to understand that, hey, life is, life could be here today, life could be gone tomorrow, so you really have to really embrace it, And that's the thing about just getting married and getting into a relationship, is that you really just taking to one another person, from their childhood until their adulthood. And that's one thing a lot of people don't really realize. They're thinking about, oh, okay, well, I get married, okay, what kind of car does he have? How tall is he? Well, what kind of job does he have? And I'm not saying that stuff is important, but those are just preferences, that's not what's going to lead you to the kingdom. That's not going to keep your ship uptight, to say the least. So you have to really willing to be with a man who's really has your inside and out, loves you through thick and thin. You're not type of not somebody who just superficial. We just want to be with you when it only conveniences him. You want to be with a man, hey, we can have a good time, the bad time, we can laugh, we can cry, I'm there for you regardless. And that's the thing that, my wife and I, regardless of whatever goes on, we already made a pact, we already made our union that, hey, we're not the divorce is out the table. We're gonna stay together regardless, you know. And you know, also too, like I said, just seeing my daughter grow. You know, she's 4 years old. Just seeing her when she was a preemie. You know, when I had to, you know, give her milk and, you know, staying up late, making bottles and stuff. I was like, man, it's crazy right here. But right now, she's getting ready for preschool, getting ready for school, dressing her own self, very independent, very, you know, well spoken. So it's like, you know, change is real. You know, it's like, and I really wouldn't have it no other way. And that's how person you got to be with, someone who's there for you for those good moments or bad moments too. And like I said, the tough moment was a jumpstart was like her losing her father. You know, it's like, man, I was like, wow, that was surprising. You know, I was crying, I was worried, I was like, man, this is messed up. But it does make you stronger when you go through those times. He's like, you know what, this is the person I need to be with, you know, because hey, you know, he gave me his blessing, and it's my job to take that badge and run with it, really. Like I said, you got one shot at the life thing. Either you're gonna take advantage of it or you're not. So that's all I really have to say. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to my channel. Any comments, any kind of feedback you want to give, feel free to comment below. Until next time out, Coach AC.